Hey, Michelle, welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
We're glad to have you because you have been on quite the journey over the last few years from a financial standpoint, from a business standpoint. And so we are super glad to have you come on as a guest to help encourage and inspire all those who are looking to make some moves similar to what you made. But before we get into your story, can you just take a moment and introduce yourself to everybody and let them know what you're all about?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Michelle Schroeder Gardner. I blog over at makingsenseofsense.com, which is a personal finance website. It all started back in August of 2011. I started my blog entirely as a hobby. I didn't know what blogs were or that they could even make money or anything like that. I started anonymously. It was just for my own benefit so that I could improve my own personal finance situation. And then soon after I started it, I became really involved in the personal finance community. I started learning about what side hustling was, early retirement, paying off your debt quickly and stuff like that. And that led me to paying off my student loans within 7 months. I paid off $40,000 in student loan debt within 7 months, and it was almost all due to side hustling, making money through my blog, freelancing, and more. And I sold my house in July of 2015, and I have been traveling full-time ever since.
Wow. I cannot wait to get into more of the side hustles and what you do as a blog and how you generate income. So you were able to pay off over $40,000 in student loan debt in just 7 months. That's remarkable.
That's
My gosh, that's remarkable. So what were the triggers or the points that led you to say, you know what, I'm ready to be debt free?
So it was definitely when I received my student loan bill in the mail. So when I received that first bill, it wasn't exactly a bill. It just told me within 6 months I would receive my first real bill. And that was for around $750 or $1,000 a month. And I think I would have to pay that for the next 8 to 10 years or something. So it was just a crazy amount of money to pay. And while I had a good job, paying almost $1,000 a month towards the student loans definitely was very stressful to think about. So I decided I was going to pay off my student loans quick. I saw these other personal finance bloggers who were paying off their student loans within less than a year or maybe 2 years. So I thought I could do that too. I'm going to try for that. And I just set myself to it, and I definitely accomplished that goal. And it feels great now knowing that it's all gone.
Man, that's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
What was it the very first, because you said you were immersed yourself into the personal finance community and you start to learn different things that other people were doing. What was the first side hustle that you attempted as you started to learn more and more about all these other things that people were doing to pay off their debt?
So one of the first things I did was I mystery shopped. So the company I use, and the only mystery shopping company I've ever used, is called Bestmark. And through them, I would go out to eat, go to fancy dinners, or I'd go to a makeup counter at the mall and get free makeup. Or sometimes it was just calling a car dealership and testing out their customer service. And it didn't make me rich or anything like that, but I did get the occasional free nice dinner or some free makeup or a little bit of money for testing out the customer service. And it wasn't a ton of money, but it was anywhere from $50 to $100 a month, plus all the free stuff that you'd get as well. So that was a nice first little side hustle that I started with.
You know, some people, they listen to debt-free stories like this, like yours, like some of the other ones we featured, but a lot of times they don't necessarily see themselves in the story. How were you able to kind of, as you were immersing yourself in the community and you saw what other people were doing, what made you believe that you could do what they did?
I guess just hearing all the stories was very motivating. Instead of me thinking I'm going to have this debt for at least the next 10 years, and hearing about all those stories where people were sending their own kids to school while they still had student loan debt, I didn't want that to be me. So just hearing other people's stories were extremely motivating, and that's pretty much was my main motivating factor.
What were some of the other things that you began to do as you, on one hand, you were trying different side hustles? Were you also kind of watching how you were living, or talk us through some of the strategies that you put into place that was key to helping you pay off all this debt in just 7 months?
Yeah, so we did a lot. I started selling items around our home, like on eBay. I started flipping items on eBay too. I was freelancing. I was managing social media for other websites. And of course, I was a financial analyst full time still as well. But other than making extra money, some of the other things I was doing included just finding ways to cut back. So, like eating out less, cutting out the gym membership, negotiating our bills, like our cell phone bills, our insurance, and stuff like that. Just little things we're able. The top thing I always recommend doing is negotiating your bills because usually a company can negotiate them, and it's really easy and it's a simple yes or no question.
Yeah. So tell us about the entire transitioning period of when you left corporate America and you started blogging full time.
Yeah, so I started making Sense of Sense in August of 2011, and once I paid off my student loan debt, which was sometime in 2013, I believe, after that was done, I felt like the relief, like, oh, I don't have this stressful debt hanging over my head. Maybe I could eventually blog full time because while I had a good career as a financial analyst, it wasn't enjoyable. And people will say, well, being a personal finance expert, isn't that like pretty similar as a financial expert or financial analyst? That's actually completely different. As a financial analyst, I did almost nothing with personal finance. So, but I really enjoyed being a personal finance expert and a personal finance blogger at Making Sense of Sense. So I decided to leave my day job to blog full time. And that was a pretty long process of paying off my student loan debt, building up an emergency fund so that I wouldn't have to worry about like a bad income month through the blog or the blogging business. And other little things like that. Building up the emergency fund was definitely like the number one thing that I did because I didn't want I wanted something to fall back on just in case there was a bad income month. And I put in my notice, I want to say September or August of 2013, and I worked for 2 more months. My last day was sometime in October of 2013, and I have been blogging full time ever since.
Wow. What made you even think that that was possible? Because I think a lot of people hear the term blogger and they think like hobby. It's a way to kind of, express yourself and let your opinions be known about certain topics. What made you even think that it would be possible to replace your income as a financial analyst through the means of blogging? Like, who planted the seed in your mind that blogging could be a full-time gig?
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. So, like I said, when I first started making Sense of Sense, I didn't know that blogs could make money, that there was such a thing as a blogging business or anything like that. I really didn't know much about it when I first started. But around 6 months after I first started making Sense of Sense, I started noticing like income reports from other bloggers. And another blogger actually emailed me and said, "Hey, Michelle, do you want to make a quick $100 partnering with a financial company on your blog through like a sponsored post?" And it all just started from there. So it took me around 6 months to earn that first $100. And then it just quickly grew from there. Around 1 year after I started the blog, I was earning, I think, somewhere around $5,000 a month. And then 2 years after, I was making somewhere around $10,000 a month from it. So once I set my heart on earning money from it, it definitely grew from there pretty quickly.
Wow. That's amazing. So it took you 6 months in order to generate $100. And now your blog, you're making over $1 million on a blog. That is remarkable. And I'm sure our audience wants to know, how are you doing that? Is majority of it coming through partnering with other companies?
So it comes through many different sources. The top source is affiliate marketing. That's like my favorite way. That is when I place a link to a product on Making Sense of Sense. And if a reader purchases the product or the service through my link, then I generate a commission from it. So I earn around $50,000 a month from that. And that's me just naturally linking to products. Making Sense of Sense isn't like just one big ad. Some people might think that if they've never read Making Sense of Sense, but it's not like that at all. It's all about doing it correctly. And then the second top way I earn money is through would be sponsored post on Making Sense of Sense. And that would be if I partnered with a financial company like a big bank in the United States or some kind of cell phone app that helps people save money or something like that. And that's around anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a month. And then the third way would be through display advertising. So think like those little banner ads that you see within a blog post or on the sidebar of a website.
Now, I think it's like you said, you started your journey as far as trying to make this a full-time business because you saw other bloggers, post income reports and showing you that it's possible to make money through this. And now you're the person that's posting income reports and showing the different ways that you're making money. Now, I think, a lot of people are going to, at the end of this episode, they're going to head right over to makingsenseofsense.com. They're going to start studying you. And I think it could be a bit of a trap for somebody who's never known you before now. Like Ty and I have been watching your journey from almost the beginning. But if somebody went to your website right now and they say, oh, wow, she made this much in 1 month, I'm about to start me a blog too. Talk about how you have been intentional over the years because, yeah, you're $1 million blogger now, but you didn't start that way. Talk about some of the systems, infrastructure, things that you've learned that took you from a blog that made zero to now you're going to exceed $1 million this year.
Yeah, so something I always like to tell everyone is to not compare your beginning to my middle or like one of my most recent income reports. Everyone's got to start somewhere. So where you start, you're definitely not going to earn $100,000 your first month. You probably won't earn $1,000 your first month blogging. So everyone has to start somewhere, and everyone's beginning is completely different. So if you look at my beginning blogging income reports, which I think I started those in 2012, everyone's going to start differently. So you might not want to earn money through affiliate marketing or sponsored posts or something like that. I recommend looking into the different avenues and seeing what you're interested in. So if someone wanted to start a blog, I would definitely recommend starting with my free How to Start a Blog course. It's completely free, and it goes over like the different ways to gain traffic and stuff like that, the different ways to monetize a blog. But if someone wanted to start a blog, I definitely recommend just starting one. You can start one for free, or you can start a blog on WordPress, which is what I definitely highly recommend. And then my other top tip would just make sure that you create high quality content. If I always say that if you don't want to read your own blog posts, then no one else wants to read it either. So definitely always make sure that your content is high quality, because that's how people find it, that's how people read it, and that's how people share it with other people. And then my third tip is always to network as much as you can. So like my favorite blogging conference is FinCon. And I recommend finding a blogging conference in your own blogging niche as well. This is because you can connect with other people in your blogging area and really connect with them in person. And if you can't connect in person, then just send a friendly email, give more than you can take, include them in a roundup post on your blog, just comment on their blog or comment on their latest Instagram post or something like that. Just genuinely try to build those relationships with other bloggers.
Do you ever feel like you are spinning your wheels as a blogger or online business owner? It can be so frustrating to feel like you are working so hard and yet never really getting the results that you want. Or maybe you haven't even started your blog yet, but you feel totally intimidated by the thought of trying to figure it all out. Why does it have to be so hard? My name is Ruth Sukup, and I am the founder of Elite Blog Academy, as well as the New York Times bestselling author of Living Well, Spending Less, 12 Secrets of the Good Life. I am also a blogger at livingwellspendingless.com, one of the most popular personal finance blogs on the net. I started Elite Blog Academy because when I first started blogging, I felt that exact same way, overwhelmed by all that needed to be done and struggling to gain traction. I swore that if I could ever figure out the formula for success, I would share it with as many people as I could. These days, my blog earns a healthy full-time income and reaches more than 1 million readers each month. But I'm not working harder than I was before. I'm working a whole lot smarter, and you can too. I'd like to invite you to join me for my latest free training called Blogging Made Simple. In it, I'll share some easy to implement, super practical tips for creating content that gets noticed and shared, and for following a simple but comprehensive framework for success that gets real results. Whether you've been blogging for years or have an online business or are maybe just thinking about getting started, this free training will change the way you approach your blog and make things a whole lot easier. The training will be sent straight to your inbox, so to get started, simply sign up today. I promise you won't regret it.
So, Michelle, what do you think is the biggest difference between the bloggers that are making, let's say, over $1 million and then the bloggers who may not be generating any income? What would you say is the biggest difference?
Some people probably wouldn't want to hear this, but I will say those who take it seriously and those who don't. Um, there's a lot that goes into blogging. There's a lot to learn. There's almost something new every single day that I learn when it comes to blogging. So you have to continually want to learn more and more about improving your blog and improving like your social media reach, improving your content, networking with others, and stuff like that. I think a lot of people think it's not a real business, and that kind of holds them back because they don't apply like actual business methods to their blogging business, such as attending the blogging conference, networking with others, thinking that it's like some kind of get rich quick scheme or something like that. It's a lot of work, and I've dedicated well over thousands and thousands of hours to it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I want to hit on too is the time that goes into it. Can you kind of talk about, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but if you really want to make this thing work, what type of time commitment should people expect to put in, especially at the beginning?
So it really depends. For my blog, even though it was just a hobby back in 2011, I was spending anywhere from like 20 to 40 hours a week on it. And that was just entirely as a hobby. I wasn't monetizing it in any way. That was just writing content, engaging with others in the community, replying back to comments, replying to emails and stuff like that. So if someone wanted to take it seriously, especially in the beginning, I would expect to put part-time to full-time hours or more towards it. So it really depends from person to person, but probably at least 10 to 15 hours a week. And the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you're able to put double or triple the hours on that, then that's probably better.
And I know that you're happily married and your husband gets it, right? He understands what you do and is supportive. What if there's a spouse out there who wants to launch a blog and they're trying to explain to their spouse what a blog is and how it could be something beneficial, and the spouse is like, a blog? So you want to be, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got a blog. You can just blog on Facebook. So like, when it comes to the relational aspect, in the beginning, back when you were first starting, how did you kind of explain this to him and kind of get him to see that this is a legit thing and that allowed him to support you?
That's kind of a tough question. I don't really remember. I started making Sense of Sense completely anonymously, so like no one knew about my blog except for my husband and my sister. But I really didn't talk about it too much. They just knew that I was writing, and they would see me writing and stuff like that. But since it was all a hobby and I was anonymous, it was really different. But I mean, I have received emails from readers saying like, oh, my husband or my wife thinks blogging is just a hobby. It's not a full-time business. I would definitely show them like other people's income reports, showing other people like the work that goes into blogging. I mean, there are websites dedicated completely to blogging. Show them those because they will clearly see that there's a lot of work that goes into it. Show them the work that you do on it. Just share like your maybe daily or weekly to-do list so that people can see like there's a lot that goes into blogging and the different tasks that go into it.
That's good. Any advice for those who may be trying to build their blogs at night while they're still attending their day job during the day?
Yeah, so my top tip would be to find time or find ways to manage your time better. So when I had my day job, I would wake up like an hour or two before I went to work, and I would work on the blog. I would often use my lunchtime hours towards working on the blog, and then I'd get home and I'd work on it some more. Weekends were for the blog. Sometimes I would just take a vacation day at work and work on the blog. My favorite times were definitely using a vacation day at work in order to just stay at home and work on the blog. Because that way I was still getting paid and I was still working on building on the side hustle. So definitely finding ways to manage time. One thing I always like to tell people is that the average person watches over 30 hours of TV a week. So if you were able just to take back some of those hours towards building your blogging business or whatever your side hustle is, that's a lot of hours that could be used effectively.
So talk about some of the joys in your life now that you are debt free and you're also making a full-time income through your blog. What are some of the things that now you're able to do that you weren't able to do before?
Yeah, so there's a lot. Not having that student loan debt is definitely, it's an amazing feeling. It was really tiring at the time paying it off since I paid it off so quickly, but I was so motivated to pay it off. And as I was paying it off more and more and getting closer to the end goal, it was like a really thrilling feeling. I really don't know how to explain it. It was an amazing feeling to finally pay off that debt. And now, life is just much less stressful. I can focus on the better things in life. We sold our house, like I said, in 2015, and we've been traveling ever since. And that's a great thing about being able to blog full time, because I can, right now I'm looking out at the Tucson Mountain Park, there's beautiful mountains, saguaro cactuses and everything just right past this laptop right here. So, I mean, I can do this from wherever I want in the world. So it's really nice.
And another thing that I read in your story is that, you paid off your debt. You guys are living the mobile life, but at the same time, even with this change in income to where now the money that you're making through blogging exceeded the money that you're making in corporate America, you all are still putting the majority of your money away in like savings and investments. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So after our business expenses, we are saving over 95% of our income still, which I understand that we earn a high income, but we are saving almost all of it. I recently read a statistic that the average person who earns like $50,000 a month, which I know that sounds crazy, but $50,000 a month, the average person, they only save $4,000 a year from that. So, yeah, so if someone's earning $500,000 or somewhere around that, they're only saving $4,000 a year. So, I mean, it's even most people, when their income increases, lifestyle inflation increases with that as well. But with us, we still save a great amount of our income. It's not like we're living off of rice and beans or ramen like people think we might. We're living a great life full of travel, full of amazing things.
So you had an incredible goal of becoming debt free. You did that. You had an incredible goal of earning a full-time income through blogging, and you did that. You did that to the point to where now your business makes over $1 million. What's next? What are the new goals that you and your husband are setting for yourself?
Right now, I think the main goal is just to continue to work on that work-life balance. Sometimes I do really well with not working as much and focusing more on having fun and enjoying life. But lately, I'm sure you know, in the personal finance world, like Q1 is like the time for personal finance because everyone's setting those New Year resolutions. So right now I'm working a lot, but I'd like to scale back soon and put more stuff or outsource more stuff to my virtual assistant. So that's like my biggest goal, just to improve work-life balance and enjoy life more.
Awesome. So do you have any book recommendations or websites that you could recommend to those who may be interested in, their entrepreneurship dreams of blogging or anything that they may want to do?
Yeah. So if someone wants to side hustle, one of my favorite side hustling podcasts is Side Hustle Nation. That's a really good one. Really great side hustling blog post on there as well. If someone wants to start a blog, like I said, I have that free How to Start a Blog free course. And then if someone wants to blog like in the personal finance community, my favorite blogging conference is FinCon, and you can learn so much from that, so much more than any book or website could teach you, especially with those in-person connections. And then there's like tons of other books and websites and podcasts and video YouTubers and stuff like that. I mean, the list is really never ending, such as this one.
Michelle, we in addition to your free course, you also have a course that teaches what you talked about as far as how to be successful with affiliates. And we are students, yes. Proud, happy, satisfied students of the course as well. So can you take a moment to talk a little bit about that course? And then if people want to get in touch with you, let them know how to do so.
Yeah, so I have Making Sense of Affiliate Marketing, which is an affiliate marketing course for bloggers. There are currently over 3,000 students in it, and in that course I teach, it's all about affiliate marketing for bloggers. So I teach the exact strategies that I use to earn affiliate income. So I go over exactly how I have earned over $5,000 from a single blog post, how I use my email list to earn a living, building trust with your audience, the rules and legalities that you have to follow when it comes to affiliate marketing and blogging. That's something that a lot of bloggers miss, and that's something that I go over heavily in the course. And I go over a lot more in the course, but the top thing I hear about from students of the course is that the Facebook community is really, really great. It's just a place to network with other bloggers, get your questions answered, help other bloggers grow your email list and grow your blog and stuff like that. So if you want to earn money blogging, I definitely recommend taking Making Sense of Affiliate Marketing.
That's right, and we'll be sure to have a link in the show notes to all Michelle's information that she shared today. And if you're watching this video, just look down below in the description box and you will find a link there as well. Michelle, this has been super, super, super awesome. We're super proud of you and all that you've accomplished. And we're grateful that you were able to take some time out of your busy schedule to share it with our audience today.
Yes,
thank you
so much, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.